All right, guys, we are on blast. I'm your host, Anthony.
And I'm Average Joe Ira.
The GOAT.
Nah.
The man, the myth, the legend. We are on blast. We are so excited for this episode. This is so cool. We are in person, not on Facebook. And Ira, what are we thinking going forward? Are we going to be doing them in person, or are we doing them on Facebook a little bit here and there?
Well, as far as our regular platform, we're going to do this in person, but it's not going to say that we're not going to pop up on Facebook Live and do some kooky stuff or just, have some quick snippets or whatever, promos, whatever the case may be. So keep your eyes peeled on Facebook because, we'll be popping up on your page.
So it sounds like we're going to be all over the place, which I'm totally cool with. Because
I'm fine with that. I'm everywhere anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I think a lot of our viewers can relate to being all over the map. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you look us up on YouTube and subscribe. Hit that bell so you can get notifications when we release our new videos on YouTube, because they are going to be exclusively on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at On Blast Official. And go ahead, Ira, take it away for us.
Well, and then you also log on to TikTok.
And
you'll find us on OB Official.
OB Official.
And you can make funny videos of me and Anthony, or make funny videos of, the On Blast podcast, but have fun doing it. I just want to see what you guys create, but, for the most part, just have fun doing what you're doing, because we're having fun doing what we do. Why shouldn't you?
I agree. I feel like people take life too seriously, Ira. Would you agree?
I take life way too seriously.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Oh, I feel that, Ira. I think we all find ourselves taking life pretty seriously at times. So what's up? We do apologize. Sunday, we ran into some trouble with service, so we made it a point to make it up to our viewers today. We are gathered here together for this very moment. We're happier than ever to be here.
I thought you were about to say we were gathered here in holy matrimony.
You never know what's going to come out of my mouth.
I was going to say something slick, but I'm just going to keep that out of this podcast right now.
Luckily, I'm feeling a little bit better.
You sound a lot better.
I still kind of feel like hell. I'm sure a lot of people can relate right now. This time of year, pollen is everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't think
my car is one pile of pollen sheet all over. Like when I leave work.
Yeah.
Because I'm under a tree in my parking lot.
Yeah.
Or when I'm pulling out of my driveway. Oh my god! Like just so much pollen. Like it's just going
all over the place.
Oh, dude, it's rough.
Yeah, I can't even. I ride my motorcycle. I can't even get on the bike without washing it first. And if I do, I get on my motorcycle and I have a pretty decent imprint of pollen on my ass.
You know what can solve that?
Washing the bike first.
Well, that could help too, but the real problem that you need to solve.
Okay.
You need to get a sidecar.
Ira's been trying to get me to get a sidecar for quite some time. I'm interested to hear what our viewers think. Should Ira get a sidecar? I mean, I don't know, Ira. I don't even know if I could hook a sidecar up to my motorcycle.
Well, you can hook a sidecar up to just about any motorcycle as long as it moves and it's sturdy. And you have a damn fast bike, and that thing is super sturdy.
Okay, all right. So what's up, Ira? What's been going on in the world of Ira?
Well, not much. We had a couple mishaps on Sunday. We were actually supposed to do this in person on Sunday.
Yes.
Life happened.
Life happens.
Me and my family went down to the shore. We had a really good time.
Yeah.
Just spending some quality time together because, like a lot of people going through, all the changes that have been going on in our lives, we've been losing sight of enjoying the company of each other and doing things together because one of you have either been cooped up in a house or me, I've been working all the time, or just life gets in the way. So, it was very important for us to, just have some downtime and just, relax, decompress, take it easy. I got burnt like a freaking lobster. I'm burnt to a crisp as it is, but...
You guys can't see, but he's actually red under that tank top.
Oh, I'm very red. I'm very red. I wear my scars with pride. That also, I'm going to piggyback a little bit, portion of the reason why, took a little time off to decompress and all that is because you know, I've been going through a lot of stuff lately personally. You know, my personal life, work life, just everything. Like, it's been taking a toll. And, you know, our last episode, I was definitely somewhere else. Like,
yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit? I mean, I mean, we could call it passion, but what do we really want to call it? Because it happens to all of us, you know?
I mean, dude, for lack of a better term, it was frustration, confusion, fear. I mean, anything you could put out there, I was going through it, you know, and so many of you guys can relate to this, you know, because every one of us, we all go through our own issues, you know. Many of us suffer from many different types of mental illnesses. You know, I've been suffering from mental illness my whole life.
Like what? So people can relate to you because
me myself, I suffer from I have bipolar, you know, and I have my manic episodes, I have my depressive episodes, and over the last couple of months, you know, I've been having more depressive episodes that have been fucking crushing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there are times where, and like, I was waking up in the morning, and I literally felt like my whole life is put in this little bubble. Okay?
Yeah.
And each day I wake up, the bubble is getting smaller and smaller, and like, the world is caving in around me.
It feels like the walls are closing in.
Very much. And like, what it was doing was creating a lot of pressure inside me. And the pressure that I'm feeling is creating anxiety. The anxiety and then is turning into fucking panic disorder.
It's inducing everything else pretty much.
And I mean, it's like I'll get to work and my heart is just going like this. Like it's like one second I'm like, all right, you know, what am I gonna fuck up at work?
Yeah.
Or, you know, how am I gonna get through the day because I don't like if I offend a customer or whatever, because I'm in customer service, you know, I have to put on a smile, a brave face,
yeah.
You know, and when the Karens come through, I have to deal with them, and they always have to be right. You know, I can't tell them they're wrong. I can't tell them off like I would love to, but you know, the thing is though is like I was basically tiptoeing on the edge, and I was more scared for myself because when you're hanging on the edge, you don't know how you're going to react to something or what's going to set you off or what's going to, you know, just drive you off the deep end. And, you know, I was tiptoeing that and it was looking like a head first and dive into concrete sometimes.
You know, it's funny. You got so much going on in your head, and I think we all do, and we really need to do a better job at opening that door to talk about it. I don't care if you're a fucking guy or a fucking woman. That door of communication always has to be open. Now, it doesn't have to be open with everybody, but, you know, you pick and choose who you can talk to, but you don't strike me, or I think anyone, I know you, obviously, so I get it. But you don't come off as this individual that is so anxiety-driven and, you know, has so much on their mind. You know, you come off as this very confident individual. Right?
I mean, it's safe to say, you know, but also you got to keep in mind, you know, I've had a lot of practice with, you know, one, identifying my own issues and being self-aware.
Yeah.
And being self-aware, you're able to, I don't want to say internalize, but process your shit as it's going on. And normally what I'll do is I'll process it as it's going on and I'll work through it so it works out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, over the last couple of months, I haven't been processing anything the same way I normally did. I was more on a negative viewpoint, and I was basically allowing myself to absorb all those emotions that I feel and keep them inside, and not letting them out or even using an outlet in the right way. You know, I can vent, but I'm not venting in a way that's beneficial to me. I've been venting in a way where it's more of keeping the cycle repeating, because it's just literally coming to no resolve. And when you have no resolve, you're going to keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over. Yeah. And when you're working on yourself or even doing self-care or whatever term you want to put it, you know, you need to find a common ground with yourself, but also from identifying the issue of what you're going through, what are you going to do to fix it and prevent it from happening again? And I wasn't doing any of that. What I was doing is I was wallowing in my own self-pity. I was wallowing in my...
It's not funny. I don't mean to chuckle, but...
It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, and I was wallowing in my own depression. And I was allowing all that to keep cycling, repeating itself each day. And like I said, when I felt like my walls were closing in every single day, you know, that's all I could see. That's all I could feel. Yeah. So I was looking at it as all I can expect is this fucking depression that I'm feeling. It's not going to go away. It's not going to get better. And by telling myself that, it's not going to fucking get better because I'm not doing anything because other than allowing it to fester and just linger.
Yeah, you're so right. So what happened last week? It was just too much. It just boiled over.
Last week, like I said, I had a case of the fuckets. And I mean that's the best term I could put up with. Put forth because, it was just like fuck it.
Yeah.
And that's not normally me to begin with. I have my moments where it's like, yeah, fuck it, because I'll go through it. But like, I snap back.
Yeah.
But like that whole day, I was in a funk. I was in a mood, but it was not just that day. It was prior time leading up to it.
So that was just.
That was the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it was the right time, right place, and it just came out.
And I mean, also, this is our platform to vent and that, and like, granted, I was venting a bit, but I wasn't venting in a beneficial way that's going to help me or anybody else really, because all I was doing was, just keeping the cycle repeating and just being a negative motherfucker. You could have said whatever, give me the best advice in the world, and it was going to go in one ear and out the other because I was going to have a reason to justify why it's not going to work for me. And when you start making up answers as to why things won't work for you, it's a clear-cut indication that you are not ready.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
You're not willing to get past it. You're just trying to stay stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
And because you just can't see past. You can't see the glass half full. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's one thing I've been doing is just looking at the glass half empty and constantly watching or feeling like the glass is emptying slowly day by day. Whereas what I should have been doing is taking personal inventory of the things I should be grateful for and the things I am grateful for and focusing on everything that's going well and what I am lucky to have, because one thing I do know for damn sure is there's quite a few people out there, they're in rough places and rough positions in life and would die or kill anything in their way to get where, I am, to have the blessings that I have. And I lose sight of that, I get into my own head and I was looking at the wrong end of it.
We don't think any less of you, Ira. We still love Ira, right, guys? We still love him. He's a big teddy bear. We got nothing but love for him, and we got to treat people like him in those moments where it's the hardest to wrap our head around what's going on internally. We got to treat people with some damn dignity, man. I mean, it is just so easy to kick a person while they're down, and that dynamic has to change. Because, you're already beating yourself up about it. What the hell good is it going to be for us to go, kick him while he's down? If you see someone struggling, you don't kick them while they're down. You got to make a conscious effort to bring this person back up. So we got nothing but love for you. I got
like
nothing.
I'm going to touch a little bit also because and this is something that does bother me.
Yeah.
Because now we're on the topic of kicking someone when we're down.
Yeah.
That the people love doing that on social media, man. You have some people, they pour their hearts out because that's their platform event.
Yeah.
And then you just got some people that just dude, they're really fucking rotten about it because it's like.
That's the best way to put it.
And I mean, dude, they just go and say some really fucking rotten shit to these people, and they start accusing them oh, you just want to seek attention, and just really start tearing them down, and. That's not fair. It's not cool.
I agree.
But also, the other side of it, though, is for what, though? And I actually pay very close attention to this because when I see somebody that's kicking somebody when they're down, that's somebody that is jealous of something with them because they're insecure about something of themselves and they feel it's going to elevate them or make them feel better to do this when really all you're doing is just fucking making that person feel even fucking worse.
Yeah, we consciously have to do a better job at making people feel better. And talking about it is one thing, but doing it is totally different. We don't have control over social media. That's the downside, But we do have control over ourselves. So, I've always believed what you put out there is what you're going to get in return. And that's the same thing for your mindset, man.
Yeah.
And I see more people preach it, and big guys, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, big guys, respectable individuals, commendable guys. These guys are fucking overachievers through and through. mindset, but it is your mindset, man, and you have to get in front of that kind of thing. You have to. You have to get into the mindset of what I do is so much more important than I realize, you know? And the same for what you don't do, you know? If you sit there and watch someone get kicked while they're down, you're no the better. You're just as much to blame.
You're just standing there watching it.
Yeah, it's a rough thing to deal with. It's a slippery slope, Ira.
Yeah.
How you feeling this week? You
Well,
feeling better?
look, you know, the viewers, I'll let the viewers know, you and I had a very, very lengthy talk the other day. I mean, we talked, 2-3 hours?
Yeah, we did talk for a couple hours. I don't know. I feel like I was doing a lot of listening, which I appreciated.
Yeah, you did a lot of listening. I did a lot of venting. A lot is an understatement. But, you know, one thing that, you know, you did say that I do feel is important, because this is one thing you've been saying to me anytime I've come to you about an issue or a grievance or even just a vent.
Yeah.
Ira, what are you doing about it? You know, what are the steps you're going to take to get yourself out of this? You know, what's your plan? And, I mean, dude, you ask me this all the time. It used to drive me fucking crazy because you, seriously, it did drive me crazy because it forced me to think.
Yeah.
It forced me to face reality. It forced me to face whatever it was that was in front. And that, you know, but this time, unlike many other times, you know, it resonated the right way. And I sat back after we talked, you know, and I was like, well, what am I going to do about it? Because I can't keep going on like this. And I don't want to keep going on like this. I don't want to keep feeling like this. And one thing that I keep forgetting, that I always need to remind myself, is I have control of how I feel based on how I use my thought process.
Pretty fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
Pretty
and
crazy.
The thing is, and look how fucking easy it is. We forget, or I forget, like when I'm going through it, like all the basic shit just goes right out the window.
Because you got so much going on, and people don't realize too, there's so many blind spots. You think you're seeing clearly, but your peripheral is far worse than you would imagine.
Oh, yeah. You
really can't see what you have to see sometimes. So, you know, I always ask people, you know, what are you doing to change it? Because, and I hate that because it does come off insensitive. You know, because when you're going through some shit, the last thing you want to hear is, how are you going to change it? No, Aunt, I just want to tell you my life is fucked up, and I want you to listen.
Right, but somebody that actually genuinely cares for you and loves for you, they're going to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. And that's one thing that, you know, has definitely been something in the forefront of our relationship, is you've never sugarcoated anything with me, you know, no matter what it is. And if I'm on some bullshit, you'll flat out call me on my shit, you know, and not a lot of people do. Or people try, but they just go about it the wrong way. Whereas you're very direct, you're to the point, but you're respectable about it. But also at the same time, like, I know it's coming from a good place when you say these things.
Yeah, it's easy because you can send a message one way, but it's always delivered differently.
Yeah.
You know, so communication is really, really a difficult thing to wrap your head around. But if it's one thing that I've always loved, and I think I would say I'm pretty good at, is people. I love people. There's something about people. I don't know what it is, but I genuinely fucking love people. I love the worst people because I think the worst people could be good people. I think they do have good potential.
The worst people always have potential. You just need to see past that first initial thing that, you know, you see.
It's easy to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And you know, that goes way, way, way back. But you have to dig a little deeper, man, because I've had people judge me my entire life, and they've never seen the little finite details of my life to draw up any kind of conclusion about the person I am or the character I am.
But yet they have such a strong opinion.
But yet they are so firmly in belief of how they see me. And, you know, when I was younger and I was a young kid, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my identity was. I really didn't know. So if you told me I was a punk-ass kid, guess what I turned out to be?
Punk-ass kid.
I turned out to be a punk-ass kid because I didn't know who I was. So if you're telling me I'm a piece of shit, I'm going to feel like a piece of shit. You know, and that, granted, that was my upbringing. That's how I felt, you know. But it's just, I mean, I don't know. It's just fucked up, man.
I mean, let's touch back a little bit about identity. You know, because I struggled with identity growing up.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of misplaced beliefs. I was, you know, easily led astray.
Exactly what I just said. I mean, my beliefs, I mean, my identity was unknown, man. But, you know, I love people to the point today where I look back on those things. I try to give people chances because no one ever gave me a chance. And whenever someone comes to me and I think they deserve a chance, I do it, man. If I have any power over it, because I never want them to feel like their beliefs are misplaced. You know, I want them to know exactly who they are and feel pretty confident about that.
I mean, it's also important, you know, to feel like you know somebody's actually listening. You know, I mean, that goes a long way, man, because, I mean, you can talk and talk and talk, and you don't feel like anybody's listening. You're just going to get to a point where, like, what the fuck am I even saying? Like, why am I even bother talking?
Yeah, it's just falling on deaf ears.
Literally.
I
knew this was coming. You set it up.
Ira is always quick to kick me when I'm down with the deaf jokes.
Wait, what's that?
For anyone that doesn't know this, Ira is deaf.
Yep.
He is deaf. So when we joke about these deaf jokes, it's not funny for me. It's funny for him because he just says, "What did you say? I don't know what you said."
So let me give you a little back history on this one, because when we worked together at GNC, okay,
yes,
he was in absolute disbelief that I was deaf. He figured I had complete selective hearing because I heard what I wanted to hear, and the things that he needed me to hear just kind of went in one ear and out the other sometimes.
Yes.
But you know, when I would take my hearing aids out and I really couldn't hear, and he would be screaming and yelling at me. Like, I mean, at the top of his lungs.
Be like, Ira, you don't fucking hear me?
And I'm like, no, I don't have my hearing aids in. And you'll be like, well, put them the fuck back in so you can hear me. But like, no, I took them out for a reason. You know, and like, it became like a little inside joke with us, you know, that's kind of lived on all the way up until today. Yes. But the thing is, though, is the deaf jokes are not funny for him because he is reminded of all those times he had to scream at the top of his lungs, yes. and it literally fell on deaf ears.
Literally fell on deaf ears. So here we are. It fell on deaf ears. But segueing back to that, sometimes people just need you to listen. And I know it from experience. I love to hear myself talk. I do.
I think we all do.
We all love to hear ourselves talk. If you could right now talk about yourself to the point of nauseam, you probably would. Because you love to talk and you love to talk about yourself. But we need to take a step back and seriously stop talking and listen once in a while.
Well, I mean, they have a saying, like an NA and AA, you know, take the cotton out of your mouth and put it in your ears. Or take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth, whichever way it is. Okay. You know, and like, it's really important to really pay attention to little things like that. They might be corny sayings, but there's a reason why they came up with that. You know, and if you actually just shut the fuck up and listen to what somebody has to say, one, you might learn something, but two, you're bound to realize that you probably have more in common with that person than you really thought you might not have had.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's really important because we as people, you know, we're very much alike in many senses. The way we think, the way we act, the way we do stuff, how we were grown up.
Yeah.
You know, however you want to put it, but you know, at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all human. You know, we all struggle through stuff. We all go through happiness. We all go through, you know, different types of, you know, emotions. And that, so it's always good to know that you're not alone. And that's the thing. A lot of us feel like we're fucking alone in the world.
I hate that.
You know, and it's a shitty feeling. And it's so exhilarating when you have that moment where you have that light bulb go off. Or that moment of clarity, like, damn, I'm not fucking alone. You know, somebody fucking hears me. They understand. They get it. You know, and that goes a long way because just that one little feeling could spark hope. You know, it could also change places. It could change everything.
Yeah.
You know, your whole mindset, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
You know, that few minutes of momentary relief could produce you with a rest of a day of feeling decent. And then from that one day, it can go on to the next day, and then to the next day, to the next day, and next you know it, just from one little interaction with somebody.
Well, it compounds over time, you know.
Exactly.
You feel good the next day, you feel even better, and it goes and it goes, and dude, I love that. I love when I have those moments of like, whoa, you know, like, man, this is pretty cool, you know, whatever it may be. You know, I often refer to it as like, you know, I love to see when a person feels unstoppable. You know, that feeling of like I'm on top of my game, whatever it is for
I feel
you.
this all the time.
Yeah,
I feel this quite often.
Whatever it may be for you, because it's a fucking drag just going through life every day. We talked about it a lot this week. The routine, the going to work, the trying to balance life. It's difficult. Not to mention you got kids, Ira.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. What do I do? Do I read them stories? When do I go to the bathroom? Can I shower? What about food? What do we eat?
Well, you see,
Not to mention I have to go to work.
Like, it's always you after the kids. So, no matter what it is, the kids are always first.
I would be doomed. I love kids.
Dude, that's such bullshit. Because, dude, you've nurtured me from day one. You would be a fucking amazing father. So don't bullshit me in the audience. Come on, man.
Okay, all right. I will admit, first time for me, for the On Blast podcast. I wouldn't admit it if it weren't for the On Blast podcast. I do remember being younger saying, one day I'll be a good dad. And I love that idea, being a parent. I love that. I could imagine. I could have 15 kids lined up on the couch. I swear to God, we would have the time of our lives. I would be like, okay, we're going this way. You guys are going that way. Go up there. Like manhunt or laser tag or like, oh man, I would just go crazy. But, for a parent, it's hard, man. We talk about the work-life balance and, you got the kids and you got a fucking job, a full-time job. Now you got to commute. It's like, okay, you got 40, 50, 60-hour work weeks to begin with. And it's like, where the hell do I find time for me? And we talked about that a lot this week, because it happens to so many people. Because what happens when your work's not getting done or something? You stay up a little later, right? Or you wake up a little earlier. So now before you know it, you're getting less sleep. So now you're all jacked up because you're not sleeping, right? So now you're not going to the gym because you're fucking tired. So just think it's so hard to find that time for you. And it's the number one thing that ends up on the back burner. Yourself.
Yeah.
You put yourself on the back burner for the people you love, the things you're obligated to, your fucking routine that's a drag to begin with. Yep. You put yourself on the back burner, and man, does that cause more problems than people would realize. And if you take the time to really focus on you, so much comes of that. So much comes of that. And I hope everyone takes that time, even if it's a couple minutes a week or whatever. I like to call it go wherever you need to go to be in the perfect mindset. The perfect mindset. For me, it's traveling. I like to vacation. It's no secret. I like to vacation.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
As long as you have the financial stability to go do it,
now,
there's nothing wrong with it.
If you're poor and you're going on vacation, there's a fucking problem.
No, you're just really damn lucky.
I'm blessed. But vacationing puts me in a really good mindset. It truly does. Whether it be a work vacation, which I find I'm doing more work travel now than anything, it puts me in such a good mindset because I come back and I work from home with Whiteboard Worthy. So the only thing that's policing my day is me. If I don't do it, I'm the only one to blame. No one's waking up and saying, hey, you got to do this.
Yeah, it's not like you have your boss breathing down your neck with urgency that, this needs to get done in this time period or, this is going to happen, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You're your own boss, but also at the same time, you're on your own time.
Yeah.
And if you want your business to flourish, the only way it's going to flourish is if you put through the work. And if you're not fucking doing jack shit, your business ain't going nowhere. Exactly.
But you need to make time to put yourself in that mindset. And I'm sure I mentioned to you at some point this week that exact statement. Do whatever it takes. If you're in a bad spot, take a look in the mirror, just for a minute. It's gonna be daunting. It's gonna suck because you're all fucking jacked up. Your mind is all over the map. And the last thing you want to do is look at what's the problem and then admit that maybe you're the problem. I'm not saying this is for you, Ira, okay?
Oh, it's resonating, so let's keep it going.
But, take a look just for a minute in the mirror and say, hey, is it you? And do what it takes to put you in that mindset where, okay, I need to start making something good come of this. Because we got enough fucked up shit going on in the world.
Yeah.
Do we need more?
Absolutely not.
No.
Are we going to get more? Absolutely.
Yes, by and I just think that's just the way it is. You got good and you got bad, and that's just the way the world is. But I think
it's a balancing act.
Yeah,
it's really a balancing act. Life is all about balance, and
yeah.
If you're not balancing it, it's going to teeter. It's either going to be the weight of the good is either going to be better than the weight of the bad, or the opposite.
Yeah.
And like if the weight of the bad is much higher than the good, that's where you need to take a personal inventory to see what you can do to level the playing field. And that's kind of how we got a little bit here with me on the topic, because the things that were setting me off into the depression, setting my ADHD off like crazy. Like the teetering was much higher on the negative aspect of things, and I was focusing on that, making it heavier and heavier.
It's easy to focus on that, though.
Dude, it's so fucking easy to focus on that. And like the thing is, though, is like misery loves company, and the thing is, though, is the company I drive up here, I have 30 people up in my fucking head that I was entertaining.
Yeah.
And these 30 people up here were all entertaining the same thing, turning the dial up on how messed up, I'm feeling, how messed up, whatever it is that has me like feeling that way. Yeah. They're just constantly needling at it. And it's like I have 30 bad friends in my head just fucking with me.
When you say 30 bad friends, are we just talking like just all the different things that are just flying at you, or what are we talking?
Well, the thing is, though, is like, we have our own internal voice.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have a feeling of different things, emotions, and that, like your anger or less anger, or your rationalization thought process, those are all voices to me.
Okay, so all different. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
They're all different, different voices of your own
self-worth, or whatever it is. It's a different voice.
And then, and the thing is, though, is like they were all congregating, and just like I was allowing myself to keep them fueled, to keep on reverberating all the negative stuff.
Yeah.
And the one thing I wasn't doing was talking to the voices in my head, not crazy voices, but the good voices that we were just talking about.
We know you're crazy. It's all right.
Yeah,
I'm crazy too. I'm right there with you.
But like I wasn't listening to the good stuff. I wasn't listening to the positive things that I would normally wake up and be refreshed and like, all right, this is how I'm going to attack the day. All right, this might happen. It might get a little rocky, but this is my thought process going into it. I have a solid plan as to if
and that's your character. That's you. You're very resistant, and you are resilient to things. Like, so when I see you having a bad day, I'm like, man, I really feel for Ira, because like that's not you, man.
And the thing is, though, is it's not me. And what I wasn't doing was I wasn't balancing it like I normally do.
So what changed? Did you start to take personal inventory, or what? What happened?
All right. Well, I mean, one, I started to take personal inventory, and then also, whatever relationship issues I was having, I do the one thing that so many of us fail to do, or we lack in doing, and that's communicate. And when I say communicate, I mean proper communication. I speak and I listen and I hear. And then also, when I'm listening to somebody else's grievances, I am taking it with a grain of salt, and I'm not getting defensive about it. I'm hearing what they have to say because they're telling me something I need to hear. And from needing to hear that, there's going to be truth in that. Mm-hmm. And you can't take offense to it. You have to hear the other one speak. And because I might be putting out a different type of perception than I think I am. So somebody's recollection of something is just as important as, what I'm projecting.
So through a little communication.
Absolutely. I mean, through communication, aside of that, and this goes back to also what we were talking about. I dialed back to the basics. I was focusing on too many intricate details, too many intricate thought processes that were just getting very confusing, and they weren't working. But if you go back to the basics always work. Because it sets a foundation. And that was the thing. I needed to rebuild my foundation. Like my thought process foundation, my actions foundation, they go hand in hand. So first I have to set my thought process. Like, what is it I am trying to achieve and accomplish? Yeah. And then what am I going to do about it? And I dialed back into the basics. I got in touch with myself again, and I reminded myself of who I am, and I also reminded myself of who I'm not and who I don't want to be, and from looking at those things, it just take a mental checklist, and part of self-care, man.
I know exactly who I am because I know exactly who I'm not. And that's some deep shit because I've only learned who I am through a lot of failure and learning exactly who I'm not. And that has led me to this very moment.
Okay.
So it's when you're talking personal inventory and stuff, that's daunting. That's fucking scary, man. And, we could talk about it all damn day. But, the fact of the matter is you took some kind of control. And I think everyone can learn from that because, like I said at the very beginning of this episode, we got to open that fucking door, man. You're a grown man. You have just as many problems as anyone else. You may be Ira, the GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend. I may be Tony. I may be whoever you want me to be, but I have just as many problems too. So we can't be so quick to judge people like, oh, well, he's having a good life. Like, whatever. He's in a good mood or he's on the podcast. He's fine. You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea about what is going on in a person's life. And we have to do a better job at keeping that door open to understand other people better. That's why I love people so much because I love to understand them. I have to understand them. It's like a sickness. I need to understand what goes through a person's head, what makes them tick, what makes them the person they are, good or bad. I have to understand it. It's just who I am, and that's what drives me, man, because I love good people. I love good people, man. There's nothing better than seeing someone pull themselves from the depths of hell, or like you said, you had to rebuild your foundation, which, many of us probably have to. We probably just don't want to, acknowledge it. But you did, and dude, I love that shit.
I mean, dude, it takes work. Like, that's the thing. You gotta work at it. Like.
You mean to tell me it doesn't happen overnight?
I wish it did. Honestly, dude, I spent about 4 years in prison. Working on myself to basically because I was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Anybody who knew me in the past, I was a completely different person. And it took many years, self-identification. And just practicing different behaviors, different ways of thinking, and it fucking is exhausting. But at the end of the day, and I'm going to tell you, there was nothing more fulfilling, okay, than walking out of the fucking prison and not looking back and knowing, okay, my life is about to begin, and I walked out of Northern State Prison. Okay, I did not look back, and I walked that quarter mile to the car, and I knew I was ready for the world. I was ready to come out. I had no idea what to fucking expect. I didn't have much. I didn't need much, because all I needed was myself and my freedom, and everything else was going to fall into place. I was confident that, all the hard work that I put in, walking out of those doors, the taste of freedom was never better. It was one of the best moments of my life, because like I said, my life was just beginning, and for many years, sitting in a desolate place like that, it warps your brain, and to try to see a light at the end of the tunnel, to try and see hope, to try and see, that there's more than, what is provided, there's more than what is in front of me, and just getting there. I got there, and I was like, I have arrived, and I knew there was going to be hurdles. I knew there was going to be obstacles. And trust me, a lot of shit was thrown my way. You want to know what? I fucking ran through everything. The worst thing, I had a friend do some really dirty shit to me.
Yeah.
And it didn't faze me. I still kept on moving
Why didn't it faze you? Because we can all relate to a backstabbing friend in some way.
Well, it didn't faze me, because I knew my friend had issues.
Okay.
And I saw that, that friend was struggling internally and lashing out and just whatever's going through her head,
Yeah.
she was dealing with her own demons.
Okay.
But it didn't faze me because, like, I mean, it put me in a weird spot. But the thing is, though, is like, I didn't allow it to just fuck me up. Like, I ended up coming up with a plan.
Yeah.
I created a solution, and I kept on moving forward.
How much better was the outcome? I imagine it was better than just like being negative about it. Instead, you came up with a plan, you found a solution, and moved forward. Do you think it would have been different if you would have gotten hung up on it?
If I stayed hung up on it, I would have.
You don't have to elaborate too far.
I mean, look, if I stayed hung up on it, I would have just backslid.
Yeah.
And then kept backsliding.
Yeah.
You know, but like I had a lot riding. You know, I mean, it was like I literally just got promoted to manager, took over my own store. I didn't have a license. I didn't have a car. You know, I was traveling 40 miles each way to get to work each day.
Yeah.
You know, and I still made it happen. Like these were my obligations to life, and I had to. You know, I can't allow somebody else's bad fucking move to capitalize or even destroy all that. Yeah. You know, and I wasn't letting it happen, and I didn't let it happen. And aside of it, this is one thing that, you know, I've had to do is I had to recognize who is good for my life and who's not. And, you know, you have to take risks sometimes. And I took a risk with this friend, and, you know, the friend turned out to not be a good influence in my life. You know, and unfortunately I had to sever ties. And I'm a better person for it at this point because, you know, they're still doing the same thing that they were doing, still stuck in the same BS.
You live and learn.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I keep thriving and moving forward.
You live and learn, Ira, and I think we do that with a lot of people. You know, sometimes it's hard to pick. You know, do I want this person in my life anymore? Someone that means the world to you, or you know, you have a good relationship with. You know, it's tough to sever ties when, you know this person's not good for you. And I think that's the same for a lot of things in our life in general. We know something.
You're definitely speaking from experience too. You know, I mean, because you recently had to do it yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I mean, I've trust me, when I got out of prison, dude, a lot of people were hitting me up, like a lot of old friends.
Yeah.
And you know, I had to really pay attention to, you know, what they were into. You know, I had to see, you know, where they're at in their life. And
people are funny too. They want to bring up your past, like you're still your past. But bringing up my past is kind of like robbing a house I don't live in anymore.
Pretty much.
I don't live there anymore.
There's no more treasure.
There's nothing there. I already took all my money with me. You know. But it's tough, especially when you make the choices that you're trying to better your life. I can tell you firsthand, people will never understand you trying to make your life better if you're coming from a different place. People are not.
One thing I've definitely noticed, when people see that you're trying to do good and move forward and be on a different path, and their mind is not on that, and they see you succeeding, and dude, they get fucking jealous quick, and they do some rotten shit or say some rotten shit to try and knock you off that just because they don't have it, they don't want you to have it.
You know,
and that's fucking a shame. That's a damn shame because, you know, if you just took a moment to wish joy on somebody, joy will come to you. Like, it's almost like karma. You know, and if you wish the best for people, the best will come for you. You know, it might take some time, but it eventually comes full circle, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, again, I said it before, I think, you know, you get what you put out. If you're going to be malicious and, you know, do people dirty in some way, well, you know, when shit hits the fan for you, you know why.
I mean, dude, look at my past. I mean, I was doing a lot of malicious shit. You know, I was a little piece of shit, and where it got me.
Yeah. It's tough.
I won't respond to that.
She's starting again.
She better cut that shit out. We got Alexa or somebody joining the podcast here.
Yeah, she chimed in the other week. Remember?
Yeah, I know. One day she said something real snub to me when I was venting to Nick. She said something real snub to me, like, that's funny or that's great. And I was like, huh? I was in the middle of talking to Nick. She started talking to me out of nowhere.
Yeah, Siri's a bitter bitch.
Yeah. You know, does she realize that it's harder to be rude and cruel than to be nice?
Well, I mean, it definitely takes more energy.
We say it all the time, man. It takes more energy to be a smug fuck than it does to be a good person, you know? And people, I get it all the time. People refer to me as that exact person, but everything that comes out of me comes from a good place. Always. It always does.
I know that.
It always does. And I do that because I hope that one day it all comes full circle, you know? I've struggled for years now. And I always try to be that bigger person. Hey, let me give a little more than I'm taking.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Let me do a little bit more than I think I can, just because it makes me feel good. And we have to find ourselves in a position where we're always giving more than we're taking. And if we do that, we're positioning ourselves in a rather good spot. And the older I get, the more I realize life isn't really, because I always think about the hustle, but life is really about positioning, man.
Okay.
It's about putting yourself in the right place, wherever that may be for you, you know? And I want to be around good people, and I knew that 2 years ago, and I knew what was going to happen, what had to happen to get there. And I'm proud to say, we're there, man. We're there. I may not have many of you motherfuckers, but man, I'm grateful for the people that are there now, because it was a long time coming, but we have to have those people around.
I mean, dude, it's quality over quantity.
Oh, every time. I just said that to Nina. Quality over quantity any day of the week.
Now, keep in mind, when we were younger, we always thought quantity was the shit. We always thought quantity meant
more. I still think when I get a big bag of like those Taki things, I think quantity. I need family size. I need to sit on the couch and get fat tonight.
But look, when it comes to food,
what are we talking? I mean, I do like quality, but let me tell you, when I go to Chipotle, I'm asking for double everything.
Oh, same thing with me and Qdoba.
Everything. I need double everything. I want extra cheese. I want extra tortilla. I want extra guac.
I want extra meat fat.
They put like a guac like this. They're like, is that enough? I'm like, I need more right now. So, Ira, I don't know where we are on time.
I don't either, man.
This has been real fun. You know, I you know.
So actually, you know, I've been wanting to bring something up, but it's just, you know, we've been, you know, so
doing our thing,
ingrained in doing our thing.
Yeah, we've been doing our thing.
So I see you're wearing a new hat today.
This was meant to be a secret. I'm blushing. What about my hat?
So I mean, you're covering the about to be a man bun.
So you guys know in prior podcasts, I'm growing my hair out to make a man bun. It's really bad right now, and I refer to it as the rising of the phoenix, because I like to think growing a man bun is cleansing my soul and introducing me into a different part of my life, a new chapter. Which man, it is, and it's looking good. And it's so exciting.
Well, I mean, you are getting past the ugly phase, so.
Oh, it's so exciting. This is awful. This is horrific.
Oh, trust me, I know. I went through it. Man.
Anyone that knows me knows I'm clean cut.
Clean. Haircut every 2 weeks. Fade.
Yes.
Shape up. Everything.
I love it. I used to love touching the skin on the back of my head where there was no hair. The skin fade was no hair.
Oh, I know. I remember.
So
because when your barber happened to close the barber shop the one day and you had to come into work, oh man, the wrath of Anthony shone through like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I do remember that day because it didn't happen often, but man, when it did happen, it was bad. But we talked about the man bun. I'm growing out a man bun. I'm hoping it is a man bun in time for Whiteboard Worthy's launch in September.
Oh, it definitely will be then.
I've been growing it out. How long have I been growing it out now?
I think you got about 4 months in.
Yeah, I've got a couple months in. It feels pretty crazy. My barber hit me up asking me when I'm coming for.
That's when you know. That's when you know you have a problem.
My barber hit me up. He's like, "Dude, where you been?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm growing out a man bun." He says, "Come down to the barber shop just to hang out." I was like,
"Yeah, okay, you're gonna get me in a chair, motherfucker."
Yeah, I was like, "Dude, if I come down to the barber shop, I'm getting a cut." So, and it's symbolic, man. Patience and commitment. It's all the things that I feel like I wasn't in the last few years that I need to remind myself I am. And that puts me in a really good headspace that, you know, we talked about it the whole episode. We're going to talk about it forever. being in the right headspace, whatever that takes for you, fucking do it. Don't care about what anyone has to say. So, so as far as the hat goes, this is one of Whiteboard Worthy's hats. This is not an original. This is an original design. It just says "Dream" on it. This was not the original mock-up. This is just what it turned out to be. And I have to say, I'm very impressed, which is why I've been wearing it.
And the message that's on the hat.
The message that's on the hat, Dream. So I'm not going to tell you what originally the hat stood for. And Dream is not what me and my team are happy with. Okay? We just spoke about this the other day, but I'll sum it up. We're not sold on what the design is at the moment.
Okay.
We are very pleased in a lot of ways, but we like the hat. We're going to keep the hat. We're doing a different design. These hats will not be available. They will not be.
So, in other words, if you're able to get your hands on one, hold on to it because it's going to be worth something.
I promise you it will be worth something if you can manage to get your hands on one. We might do a limited edition sort of thing, but, further details to come on that.
Yeah, I'll keep my mouth shut.
Further details to come on that. We'll see where we're at with that. But yeah, Whiteboard Worthy, I mean, no better...
Dude, I'm excited for the launch, man.
No better way to wrap up an episode than to talk about Whiteboard Worthy, man.
Honestly, dude, as the time gets going, I'm just watching everything, unfold. I'm getting excited, man. I can only imagine for you as being a business owner, what you're going... Because here's the thing, and the audience, you guys don't know what Anthony's doing behind the scenes, putting this brand together. And I've known Anthony a couple years now, and I've never seen him so determined about anything. I've also never seen him, so passionate. And trust me, this is a passionate dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the amount of sheer passion that he's putting into this brand. And then keep in mind, some of the things that, the hurdles he's had to get over, a lot of people fucking jump off bridges to go over that shit, and this man's still doing it. He's still going through it, fixing... identifying,
I won't
creating.
I won't talk myself up too much, but the things I went through in the last couple of years were meant to break anybody.
Yeah.
They were meant to break a person. They were meant to break a person, and if you could I got goosebumps talking about it, but I don't know how I got through it. I really don't.
And I mean, it resonates to your story of the Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, though, it couldn't be any more true. That's why I have a Phoenix on my throat.
Yeah.
And when you talk about that story, I relate to it 100%. Because I tattooed this on my throat for a reason.
Yeah.
Not the same exact.
Sure.
Message that you provide.
But it's symbolic to you.
Exactly. But it tells my story.
Yeah.
Because I have a giant demon on my chest,
yeah.
a big anarchy sign that symbolizes what I believed in then. I was a demon. I had I lived in chaos.
Yeah.
And then the Phoenix is coming out from, the ashes of my past, and then here I am now. Yeah. The Phoenix rising above the ashes.
Same thing, Ira. The man bun people, I talk to people and they think I'm a joke. And I think it's fun.
Let them try saying you're a joke around me. I'll punch them in the fucking mouth.
No. we're lovers, Ira, not fighters. Come on now. We kill people with hugs, right? And we give them a big old hug. But yeah, I'm very excited for Whiteboard Worthy. We just talked about it the other day, and I try not to talk to too many people about it because it's something that is near and dear to me, but it's not to everybody.
Right.
And that's not lost on me. It's my thing. It's not your thing. It's not anyone else's. Right? You support me. You love that I'm doing it. Excuse me. But, I've been working on it for how long now with literally no outcomes. Right? So nothing.
Well over a year.
Yeah. I mean, so try to think about, it's the same as working on yourself. Something that we don't realize how much work goes into it before you really get to the fruits of your labor, if you will. And that's different for everybody. But Whiteboard Worthy is it's all about self-care, man. That's what the podcast is about. It's about self-care. It's about caring about yourself.
See how it's all coming full circle again?
And the clothes are our identity.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they're our identity, man. They represent us on the most vulnerable level possible. What better way to have a company that represents you? I mean, I'm just shy of being in social work, really, because I want to be that close to the customer. I want the company to be that big, right? And that important to the customer. We're not just talking, again, quality over quantity here, So very exciting. I like to talk about it, but there's certain things we obviously can't talk about.
All in due time.
All in due time. But September 1st, we will be launching at midnight. So we're working hard. My team's working really hard. I'm very proud of everyone's hard work in this. It's been quite the endeavor. Any final thoughts, Ira?
Well, I mean, dude, we covered so much.
I mean, I've almost had goosebumps the entire time, this whole episode. I mean, this has really rocked my world today.
Well, I mean, I definitely had fun being off of the Facebook Live platform because it's like, you never know if it's going to go out.
What a pain in the neck.
Yeah, dude. Like, it was convenient for the time.
Yeah.
But it was just a pain in the ass, especially just trying to hook up.
Yeah. We're gonna see what we can do with that, but it was a good starting point for us.
No, absolutely, you got to start somewhere, and like we started at the most basic, easiest platform we can get on.
Yeah.
And then from trial and error, we're able to learn more, but also at the same time we're able to see that there's a bigger horizon that we can expand into, and that's what we're doing moving forward now.
So, again, guys, if you have watched up into this point, thank you.
Yes. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit us on Facebook or TikTok.